This is Justin Amazon on January 2nd, 2020. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's been a little bit, and I apologize for that. But let's get into this and see what we've missed or what I've missed. Uh, we had a major breakout from down in the 1700s, the week of Christmas, and really just rallied hard. Came all the way into 1900, and then we just S-curved back into 1841. And then today we consolidated quite a bit between our two pivots here, and then broke out today. So zooming in on yesterday and today, really just kept bouncing, straddling really the 1841.30 price, and then got a really nice gap up right into let's see, it's 1863.84. These two candles were really nicely bouncing, nice hammers bouncing off of that level. Didn't quite touch it here or here. Kind of hung out in that price range a little bit. This looks like a double top with a neckline retest here and some bears going bearish to have that roll over. Didn't do that. It pushed a little bit higher. And then pulled back into the same range. Again, not getting into the pivot price, and then just rallied, held with a really nice stair step here, rallied again, held for an extra long stair step, and came right into 1881 again. Sorry, 1880.05 again, and then broke out and into the close, even rallying again. So a really nice bullish day. It waited a while to do it. There's a bit of a triangle here, some lower highs, some higher lows, and a really nice stair step and consolidation right at the apex where it then just breaks out. A lot of opportunities to get in here. We'll look at what you could do with some calls and some things not to do too. So jumping over to the 1880 call, and I'm just looking at this one because we have a pivot right there. So it makes sense to play a value like that, right? A strike like that. We got into kind of the $5 to $6 range here, which is a little bit wide. Some of these candles were a little bit more than $1. Would have been a challenging place to be buying. But the lows, it really held a pretty steady low between like 450 and 5. It even came back right into that range here, putting a low 449. I think that was a low 449 up to 504 in this candle. So just watching where this low came in, that's really the price you want to buy at. So when you get an opportunity where it breaks out and then comes back down into it here, you could be buying the low, or you just wait for the consolidation. And this consolidated right back into the 5 to 6 range. So getting in at 6, stop down at 5, or waiting for the breakout and then the consolidation, waiting for it to kind of settle out again buying the low because it should break out. It's a stair step. This should continue. This one should continue. So buy the low and a stop down here below the low and go in the direction that's going. If it comes down further, like this one, if this turned into a bearish, well, it is a bearish candle. If it turned into more of a bearish candle and continued lower, well, then something's changed. But this, if you're getting in on a low and it continues to hold that low, great. That's what you want it to do. So buying anywhere in these lows, you're risking that it's going to hold that value. But that's what we wanted to do. So that worked over here once it was consolidating and got going. It did not work so well over here. I was getting in somewhere too early, and I think it was somewhere in here. And the option I was in pulled back too far. I think it was in this candle. Pulled back too far. It's like, oh no, play that one too tight, too aggressive, just to see it. To see it first pull back into that same range here. I think it was, let's jump over to I think it was the 1900 call. So I'm just playing this a little further out. Yeah, I was trying to be too aggressive. So I got in 250 by 2, thinking, okay, once it breaks out, and I had a stop limit on this, so I wanted it to get to 250 and get me in then, and it got in at 9:45. That was this candle to then immediately just pull back some more. So it wasn't ready. I thought this was going to have two hammers here, starts to break out a little bit, pulls back. Okay, it's like, okay, now it's going. We're getting above the 21. It's breaking out. It's going, and it didn't go. I thought this was the stair step, and then playing it so tight, I was like I said, I got in at 250 and a stop at 2. And by stopping down at 150, it actually would have worked fine. Even through all of this, would have been really an ugly trade to hold through all that, but it technically would have worked. 250 by 150 would have worked, and would have been, amazingly profitable. I had a target up at 8 because I thought it was going to break out from right here, and it did. It did get up to 8. It just didn't do it on my time frame. It did it later. But the 1900 was a nice round number to be playing, so I liked the value in that. But it just it didn't get going right off of the hammer, and I played it too aggressively. It did have a nice squeeze coming in here and a breakout. You can see. Let's see. Is that going to small it now? So when we had the squeeze here in this range, you can see this is just consolidating, not really losing much more value. But through this whole stair step, this did actually pull back a little bit, pulled right back into the same range where I got in 250 by 2. It would have actually worked to get in here 250 by 2. And yeah, that would have been a great place to be trading. So anyway, let me zoom back into this. Maximize that one. All right, we'll come back over here. So I added this channel because it worked 2-3 days ago here. So all I did was match that same range here. Wait, no, this one? Well, that's weird. I thought it was the same one. All right. Well, I copied this one, and then I thought this was the same width, but somehow it's not exactly. So I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm going to have to redraw that. But anyway, when I drew it in, I thought from here to here was the same as here to here, but apparently it's close. But it worked really nicely right into that point, right into that price, right at 1900. We had a nice quick pullback. We're back into making big candles. Yesterday was not a big candle, or not yesterday, but the last day of 2019 was not a big candle. It was a little bit smaller here, but this candle is big. This one's big. This one's big. This one's big. These kind of look big, similar to how these were big over here, And then I was also looking back, kind of comparing back to last time we had a big consolidation and broke out. And I thought, well, I've been comparing it to this. Well, where does it look like we're at? We've had kind of a breakup from a stair step. Do we have something that looks like that? Not exactly. Do we have a big bullish single candle? Not exactly. We've got a bunch of littler ones here, but running right into resistance, a downtrend resistance here. Looked similar to this, where we're going to pull back a little bit, and we pulled back like this. Took 3 days from the high to the low, from a high down to a low. And so I thought today was going to look something like this, where it'd gap up, fade back down, at least initially. And it did kind of, do that, because it gapped up, faded back down, held that, and then actually ultimately had the breakout in the same day, which is really bullish. Whereas this candle, it had another pullback and then ultimately rallied through it. So we're already, kind of combining all of this into like one day. And we didn't have as deep of a pullback or correction. We had a little bit of a lower wick, but this is a bullish retest gap. We retested, held our pivot, and then it already looks like we're breaking out. So another perspective on this, the daily doesn't really show a great squeeze. This is a great consolidation. Not even just that. Like, this whole thing is a great consolidation. You're not really seeing it on the daily. Well, you gotta go up to the weekly. And on the weekly, and the lines are going to move. They don't snap as well on the weekly. But anyway, on the weekly, we're about to like this is the first week we're getting some bullish momentum, and we've got 3 dots to the squeeze. We've got also, 4 bullish candles in a row. This is significantly different than what we've been doing over the last 12, 15, 20, however many this is, weeks, a lot of weeks. But we've shifted from bearish momentum now to our first positive momentum. And when we've done that before, shifting from negative to positive, I mean, this time we had a huge move up. I mean, we could be setting up for that. That was March, April, just about into May. And that was just last year. The other thing we've added to that now is going up another level. Looking at the monthly, we've got a squeeze that's got some bullish momentum here now. This is the first time we've shifted to being bullish. We've got more squeeze dots than we did here and more than we had here. Now, this is a new month, so this could actually turn into a green dot potentially, like this one did on its 6th dot. But I mean, think about the potential if we do a squeeze and actually break out like we did here or here. Either one of those means this is consolidated enough, we can actually start ripping higher. And I think 2020 could be a great year for that. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. But anyway, we just got to get moving. And I think we have the potential to keep moving tomorrow, potentially into 1925. We've got a lot of bears trapped here. The volume, I mean, this was the day before holiday, day before New Year's, so much lighter volume, much smaller candle. This was the day before Christmas. That was a short trading day, really light in volume, but the breakout, the stair step here, and then the gap up and breakout that we got was phenomenal. I mean, it's a post-Christmas rally, but it really worked. It got a little bit of a pre-Christmas rally, but I think for whatever reason, this has really been waiting to do something big. So the other thing is this S curve is a really nice breakout. S curve and a retest right back into the pivot that we were holding for so long. And this is the first time we've been in these prices since July. So we're trapping any bears in this whole range for the last, 5 months. So I think we could really keep going. I would not be surprised if we're back up to contend with all-time highs in the next month or so. We'll see. It'd be kind of like this kind of aggressiveness coming up out of this major rally that sunk so quickly. This has just had such a long time to consolidate that this is now the public participation. This is the accumulation that's finally breaking out. And sometimes you just got to get on board with that kind of a move. And so there are a lot of opportunities to just get in. And I think there's potential to see more of those. So looking at the 1900 call, looking at a 1925 call expiring tomorrow, if this pulls back, if this starts to go, let me say it again. If this starts to continue bullish and this option price pulls back some more, look for some low opportunities to get into that. And 1925 could be too far away for tomorrow, but if you get your eye on 1910 and this starts to consolidate down and comes back down to like $2 or $1, but it's moving up in the direction. If we get a couple dollars away, even late into the day, if we have a move like this all day, and then in the last 2.5 hours, we don't have to do something exactly like this, but if we can have a move that goes $5, $10, I mean, on a Friday, that can be explosive. You can really have this this felt like a Friday. where the options just explode higher. It's just the move that we had. It consolidated for so long, the premium got sucked out, and then it continued to break out and go bullish. And some of these options that were so much cheaper, they just, I mean, the premium has to be baked back into it, and they just go. So look for something like this, where if it can consolidate around $1 or $1.50, get into that when it looks like it's breaking out. Wait for it to look like it's breaking out. Wait for the stair step to actually break out. Get in on a bearish candle on the pullback of that, and you'll have the opportunity to ride a move like this, where it goes from $2 to $5 over the course of half an hour, and trail that stop tightly. That way you're going to lock in the gains. So that's what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow, especially if we can continue moving in the morning. If we do some sort of consolidation like this, I'll still be looking for that, but wait for the breakout, because if you get into it early, you could have to sit through this. If you sit through this on a Friday expiration, you're going to get stopped out just because of the premiums being sucked out of it. If you get in for $1, so like this one, if you can get in for $1, like down in here, something like this, you could do an absolute zero. That could work, but don't just throw money at those. I've done that way too many times. So anyway, well, I guess we'll see how it plays out tomorrow and see if we do get a continuation. The other thing is we really did break out above, get a close above some of these bearish candles here, not quite above this wick, but we could still consolidate and pull back a little bit into 1880.05 and, just kind of bounce off of this X marks the spot over the next couple of days. So it's totally possible to have a little more of a pullback here. It's just, this looks so strongly bullish. I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about how to trade it that bullish. So just know what you're risking, know what your R is, and be ready for continuation, but know your risk and only lose the R that you're putting out there. So hope this helps. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.